The GB News presenter compared the Prime Minister to Winston Churchill as he discussed Boris Johnson's relationship with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. It comes ahead of his speech to Kyiv, in which he is set to announce a £300 million package in defensive military aid. Eamonn Holmes said people could see through his approach and labelled him a Winston Churchill tribute act. Foreign Affairs analyst James Marlowe explained, "You see the usual social media against Boris when he was walking around. In Ukraine, people say it was all staged because all the buildings appear to be intact and he was walking around without a flak jacket. Of course you get the usual rubbish on social media, it seems to be growing. But there is a point here, James," Eamonn argued. "The difficulty is with Boris, people who can see through him will see a Winston Churchill tribute act going on here. It is an awful situation, it's terrible. But likewise, who are you fooling, Boris? Is there not a situation where he could turn people against him? Has written books on Churchill, Churchill's his big hero and Hess invoking the spirit of Churchill. I think to a certain degree, yes," James replied. "But nevertheless, when you become Prime Minister of a country, you never really know what to expect. This obviously wasn't planned, nobody really expected the Russians to go to Ukraine in the way that they did. There was a possibility, and I kept talking about it at the end of last year, a possibility in the Donbas region where there is Russian support. But not to take the entire country a couple of days after you said there was no way it was going to take place." He continued, "Therefore, the reaction from the West, specifically Boris, and Boris is in a position to be able to do it much more so than the Germans, because of course the Germans and other Europeans have to rely on the energy, on the oil that's coming from Russia. Of course, the Germans have come a long way and they've taken out some of their companies, a lot of cooperations have come out. And this is actually something else because the Russians are now open to a lot of cyber attacks because their people, those who were protecting Russia, have now been pulled out of the country." He went on to explain the effects Russians will soon feel as a result of sanctions. So Russia is actually in a very vulnerable spot and there is talk at the moment, because of these sanctions, Russia and the Russian people are going to start to feel the effects in a real serious way in the coming months, he stated. And it will go back to the Soviet days, where you'll be lining up, socialist times. The aristocracy in Russia is going to be hit very badly, they don't know what's coming their way.